Gang! That's all I got.
Welcome to WSGF.
I'm Simon, also known as the Destroyer.
I'm Chris, also known as Peanut.
And yeah, this is WSGF News.
Welcome back.
You know, it's our post-Halloween episode, so
That's right.
hopefully y'all went out and had some fun Halloween.
Trick-or-treating.
I'm still a little spotted from stage blood from seeing Evil Dead the musical.
Oh, right.
It was kind of fun.
Cool.
They
enjoy it?
They 75 gallons. It was really food coloring, really darkened food colored water.
Yeah.
But 75 gallons of it was thrown on the audience, they said.
Oh, wow. They threw it on the end.
It was pretty legit. So it was a fun way to spend Halloween. But yeah, so Halloween, there's actually, I found on Reddit, there's it's r/DIY for do it yourself. And there's this portal turret that's made out of a pumpkin.
Cool.
It kind of looks like it moves, and it has a light that kind of lights up and stuff like that. So I figured it's Halloween. We should throw up some Halloween sort of stuff. It's post-Halloween, I guess.
Yeah, we'll throw a picture up.
So yeah, really cool. And we'll link to the actual Reddit article, and so that way, you know, we give the credit to where credit's due. But speaking of Halloween, it was the anniversary of actually a game that you and I have played before.
Yep.
Natural Selection. Natural Selection 2 and Natural Selection 1 both released on Halloween. It was the anniversary. I think they released a new patch, and there's a new like skin DLC. It's called Reaper.
Yeah, Build 270.
Build 270.
I don't know if that's really relevant to anything, but yeah, it says you get 5 new alien skins, 1 for each alien class, and a special Reaper shoulder pad for Marine players.
What I really like with these DLCs they're doing is the people who've made it, I forget who made the Reaper one, but when they make these skin things, there's been a couple others before.
Right.
They give a percentage of the proceeds to whoever made it.
Yeah, and so again, you probably heard us talk before about NS2.
Mm-hmm.
It's now the developers have handed it over to the community.
Mm-hmm.
So all this DLC and stuff is community driven, correct?
Well, yeah, it's community driven.
It's officially released, but the community has a hand in creating the content, essentially.
Now, speaking of creating content, there was a new game released from Unknown Worlds, but it's Unknown Worlds as the publisher, and the developer is someone else, and I completely forget who it is. We'll link it. We'll have it right here below us in a title bar. But they released NS2 Combat.
Yeah. So NS2 Combat, what used to be a mod of...
First, it was a natural selection mod. So
right.
It was the idea was to make it easier for people to
jump in the game. Yeah, they don't have to worry about building structures.
Counter-Strike gun game sort of mod.
In the NS2.
Yes. Or in NS1. And then you kill things, you can buy things with your levels, you get higher level, you can buy more things and stuff like that. Well, it was a mod for NS2 because they never released it with Natural Selection 2.
Right.
And now they've just kind of taken it away and split it in its own thing.
Right.
And they've been given permission to use the intellectual property and stuff like that. And it's like $15.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this.
So it the combat mods are definitely more popular because they're easier, they're friendlier to new players. Because one of the biggest complaints about NS2 is
it's a really, really high
learning curve. You know, you got to build structures because it is very similar to StarCraft. You do have to have a good commander to do well in the game, you know what he's doing and what tech trees to research and buildings to build and things like that. One of the things the combat mod does is get rid of all that, right? So you don't have to worry about a bad commander not building the right thing.
There's no real okay, we're going to have a game plan. You can really just run, shoot, run, shoot, run, shoot. And
much more Counter-Strike-y feel.
I mean, I've been on servers like that, and I've just Rambo'd the entire time.
Yeah, so it's much easier to jump into, but I think the gameplay is a lot less deep.
Yeah.
And I think as a result of this new mod or juncture, you know, forking off of standard NS2, it's going to essentially, it may not fragment the community totally, but it'll definitely split it, right?
Yeah.
The people that like combat and the people that like NS2, because before to play NS2, you had to have, to play the combat mod, you had to have NS2 regular. Now you actually don't have to. You can just install
it's
combat.
A standalone game now.
Right.
Now, I had a buddy of mine, and I haven't played it. I don't know if you've played it yet, but I had a buddy of mine log in today. I was talking with him, and he said it didn't feel right. Like, even thinking about back to NS1 combat, it didn't feel like natural selection. It just kind of felt very generic run, shoot, run, shoot, run, shoot sort of thing. He also said that, at least at that time, and this was like a Sunday, so we're recording on a Sunday, and this is a Sunday afternoon, he said there's not a lot of people on the servers.
Right.
So I don't know if that's going to be like that the entire time, or if it's just a situational thing, like everyone's doing something on a Sunday, or they're recovering from the holiday, and there's just not a lot of people playing games.
Right. Right. So I haven't tried I have played the combat mod of NS2 before. I have not played the standalone yet. So I've been doing a lot more streaming recently with, on Tuesdays, doing Alien Isolation and other things. If I do stream, maybe I can throw in some NS2 combat mod streaming and give my thoughts about it. We'll see what goes on with that. But I agree with you. I think that it does fragment the community, and from the stuff that I did play when it was a mod, it was very basic, and it did not feel like the whole point of NS2. Like, to me, when I played NS2, it was the reason I played it was so different from anything else out there. It was a combination of first person and real-time strategy, which made it really awesome. And I feel like the combat mod kind of takes away from that. So
I don't know if I'm gonna buy it or not.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I've played Combat 2. It wasn't my thing. It's fun, like, I just need something to do, and I can't find anyone to play on.
Right.
And I've talked with people too. They're trying to figure out ways on how to keep the NS community going, because really it's sort of dying off just because of that I think steep learning curve. There's not as many people as you would expect playing. It's a great game, a fun game. It's just hard to grasp. And I really, especially this being a separate entity, you don't have to own NS2 to play NS2 Combat. You just buy NS2 Combat. It ships with the full game and everything like that. Maybe if it was like a DLC. I know we talk about we hate we're not real big fans of DLC, but I think something where it's an entirely new game system, much like Payday 2, where they added like the planning sort of thing into that one, the Big Bank thing.
Or maybe if you want the standalone game, you pay $15, but if you want to buy NS2 proper, you buy NS2 and you get the DLC.
If it came out with that sort of thing, that would be cool. Because then you could buy, I'm not sure, I'll buy Combat. I can try it. Oh, I kind of like this idea. Now let me buy NS2. But everyone that has NS2 can be like, oh, I'll just go switch to Combat because I can't play.
Right.
I mean, it's nice that the money goes to a different company and it goes to the modding community, but I think this is a better way to do this. That doesn't encourage splintering the community.
And I think that's based on our feelings towards NS2 as a game, right? We have emotions tied to NS2 and want to see it be successful. And that's totally human instinct to want to see your game do well and succeed, for sure. So recently in the news, if you saw, people who had XCOM got into the alpha for Evolve.
I saw that, and I've actually seen pretty much everyone but me on my Steam friends list playing Evolve.
Yeah. So I have it installed, have not played it yet. I did have XCOM, so I got it. I installed it on Steam. I've been watching, I watched a few videos of it. It seems, it's the same guys that did Left 4 Dead, which I was a huge Left 4 Dead fan. And it's a little Left 4 Dead in a sense of, there's 5 characters and they're trying to hunt down an alien versus, 4 characters trying to make it away from zombies kind of thing. But still, it's in the same vein of it requires a lot of teamwork. And it's 2 teams basically fighting each other, trying to get to an objective or a point to try to stop them, right? So I don't know. My thoughts on it are, from just watching it, it does look fun.
It's really fast-paced. I really like that fast-paced.
It's very fast-paced, a lot faster paced than Left 4 Dead. Almost kind of like a Titan feel because you have the parkour jumping and stuff. It is going to be $60 right away, and the developers have said that there is going to be DLC for the characters and stuff. So it's a full retail game. Expect DLC, all that good stuff. My only concern, based on seeing it, is kind of like the Titanfall. What I had problems with Titanfall with, which was lack of variety. Titanfall is really fun, but there wasn't a lot of differences between the matches, even though there were different modes. There was pretty much the same thing: get in a mech, shoot each other, blow up, done. And from the videos that I've seen and some of the comments that I've seen about Evolve is that it's very, very, very similar. The gameplay is similar. The map changes don't make enough difference in the core gameplay.
They're all jungly sort of things too, right?
Yeah, they're all jungly maps, and it's essentially just 4 or 5 players running after, trying to hunt down this beast. The beast runs away, throws rocks at you, can punch you. can like leave fake trails and double back and like throw you off. But there's just not an extreme amount of variety in the game. I think with Left 4 Dead, what kind of made Left 4 Dead good was that every level
was unique.
Well, yeah, it was pacing. You know, oh, you got to press the button and then wait, and then there was hordes of zombies that could come randomly anytime. And this seems a lot different in a sense of you're basically just running around trying to find this big alien and kill him. And there is a level progression though, because the way the game works is you're in a dome, the dome breaks, the alien runs far, then they trap him in another dome, they can hunt him for a little bit, then the dome breaks, then he goes into like a building, and then you fight him in the building, then the building door opens up, and then he runs out. So it's like stop, go, stop, go, stop, go until the alien gets away or whatever, or kills everybody. So I do think it's fun, and I probably will pick it up because I did like Left 4 Dead a lot, and I do like the developers of Left 4 Dead. But I just worry about the variety involved in the game.
Just for me, just looking at the gameplay footage and people I've talked with about this, foliage in kind of wilderness kind of looks the same, like as you go along. And you talk going back to Left 4 Dead. I mean, the buildings look different. The buildings look unique. So when you're planning things around, you're trying to coordinate something. It's easy to say go around that. Whereas foliage is really not something to really grasp on.
Yeah.
There's nothing visual. It just looks like trees.
Yeah, it's a very dark game. One thing I do like about it, some of the positives about it is it does have a little bit of Team Fortress 2 feel. There's like a medic who has like a medic gun that can shoot you, and there's like an engineer guy that can drop like mines and like stuff to booby trap the aliens, similar to like the guy who makes turrets in TF2, engineer I guess, right? So it does have a lot of TF2 feel, and it does have a lot of team play, which I don't know about you, but like Team Fortress 2, one of the reasons I like it did have a lot of teamwork.
Oh yeah, I still play it to this day.
Yeah. So the teamwork aspect to me of Evolve is going to be really, really key. So it's a very good mix of team play oriented game and also very fast paced, like Call of Duty, not Call of Duty, but Titanfall, like jumping. To some extent Call of Duty, I guess, but it's very fast paced because you're jumping and moving very quickly, and you have a jetpack and all this stuff. It's not very slow. So I think those two things combined, fast-paced action with teamwork, should make for a very good game. We'll just have to see how.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, it's still an alpha, so there's a whole lot of things they could be doing with it too. I don't think it comes out till like February
next
2015 officially.
Yeah,
so I mean,
for sure,
plenty of time to fix things, plenty of time to look at comment and see how they want to change the game or evolve the game.
Oh, I see what he did there.
But yeah, it looks fun. I mean, I'm depending upon what they do with it these next couple months, I may or may not pick it up.
Yeah. So if you have the alpha, check it out, install it, and maybe I'll stream a little bit of it, and Simon too if he picks it up, and we'll see how it goes when it comes out. So, Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Huge fan. I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan.
I've never seen it. I know I'm a horrible person.
Well, it's good you haven't seen it, because the more and more you wait, the better and better it's going to get, and you'll have more and more shows to watch. Because there's nothing worse than binge watching a show
and then
getting to the end, and then you don't have any more show to watch.
I was doing that with Arrow. I binge watched Arrow, and then I've got to wait.
Yeah. So the longer you wait, you're okay, because you'll have a lot of great television the next year or two to watch. So those of you who don't know, Game of Thrones, big, huge TV success.
The show that they kill everyone on, right?
They kill everyone.
They kill everybody.
Based on the books, A Song of Fire and Ice, which I'm doing the audio versions of. Telltale Games, which they've done Back to the Future, Walking Dead. They are now doing a story-based game for Game of Thrones, which is really exciting. They did an interview online, and it was basically, they said that there was going to be 4 major characters, all from the same family, as part of they did a new thing in Walking Dead where you could switch between 2 characters during a plot in the story. Well, now they're going to actually have 4 playable characters at the same time within the same family, switching back and forth. I'm assuming this will be the Stark family, could be another family. So the interview was with the International Business Times, and it was done, Steve Allison, that was the guy, the developer for Walking Dead and Game of Thrones from Telltale. And basically, he was just talking about with their new little character system they've got going on and what to expect for the Game of Thrones series. I'm personally looking really forward to it. I've played all of the Walking Dead ones. I've played the first episode of Back to the Future, which was good. And Game of Thrones is like one of my most favorite television shows.
That's money right now, from what I.
Yeah, something tells me that they're going to be printing money with this game. I mean, the Telltale series has been wildly successful. Game of Thrones series has been wildly successful. Put those together.
It's a recipe for super success.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. What I'm curious to see is like someone like in your position who hasn't read the books, hasn't watched the show. I wonder if you could play the game and you could learn the story as well, because that would be kind of interesting. That for a new person to Game of Thrones series, instead of watching the show or reading the books, could they play the game and still learn the same story that people like me are familiar with? I've done the books.
So, like, I may not necessarily watch Game of Thrones, but someone who's fans of that sort of style that Telltale does, yeah. So you're just saying don't watch, is what you're saying.
Well, I would be curious if you're not going to, we should do an experiment.
Okay, so I'm a guinea pig. All right.
You haven't watched the show, you haven't read the books. When the game comes out, play the game, experience the story, and then you and I can talk about the story. We can see how much it's different and separate, because we might be actually, getting the same story through different methods of consuming it. Right? You're playing a game, an interactive story, and I'm listening or reading a book, or watching a TV show, and to see how it is different or the same.
That'd be interesting thing.
Yeah. So,
when is the game? Have they said when the game comes out yet?
So it's planned on coming out next year.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't see a release date on this article yet.
But
I'll leave a link in the description below.
But sometime in 2015.
Actually, so I'm sorry. They're launching both the premiere episodes of Tales from Borderlands and Game of Thrones before the end of 2014. So before the end of this year, the next 2 months, we should see episode 1 of Game of Thrones, which is exciting. If you're not familiar with the way the game format is, they do it in episode format. So, Walking Dead was 5 episodes, season 1, same thing. Back to the Future was the same episode situation. So it's going to be, episode 1 will be done this year. We'll wait a couple more months, and episode 2, 3, 4. I don't know how they're going to do it in the book format. Like maybe season 1 will be book 1, season 2 will be book 2, etc. The HBO show is kind of done that way, but it's a little bit mixed up. Like season 3 of the show is actually like half of a book and half of a book.
Okay.
The story gets really complicated, so I'll be curious to see how Telltale does it. But anyways, fun experiment. Maybe you can try it and let us know how it is.
I'll hold off, yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. We're good?
Yep.
Ready? All right. So you have played the new Civilization game, Beyond Earth.
Yes.
Correct.
Beyond Earth.
This came out, last week?
Yes.
Hi, what do you think about it?
It's very similar to the previous Civ 5 title.
Okay.
It does have some flaws. It's better than Civ 5 when it first came out, but Civ 5 got some DLC, some expansions that actually made it a lot better. I think this will need some updates and some maybe a DLC or just some updates to make it a lot better. I do like it more because it is a futuristic title. It's got the whole futuristic feel and stuff.
Okay.
And I also like it more because it is a little bit more unforgiving and challenging. In Civ 5, you had the barbarians. In this Civ, you have aliens. Mm-hmm. And the aliens are a lot more forgiving. There's a lot more of them. They kind of like zerg you at some point if you attack them too much. Overall, I'd say it's worth a purchase. I just think that if you don't have the money right now, don't buy it yet. Wait for some updates. If you do have it right now and you want to play with some friends, it is a good game to play with your buddies for sure.
No Gandhi in space?
No Gandhi in space. The races are a little bit different, but it's overall
So how does it do the kind of races? Just curious.
They have a British accent, Australian accent, American accent, Spanish. They're still themed around nations, like coming from Earth to a new colony. But they don't flat out call them like, you know,
American.
yeah, Aztec, you know, American. They call it like some futuristic name, like Republic of blah blah blah, and then you know there'll be another one that's like in Spanish, and that's like you know, something something. So it's a lot of more futuristic and kind of made up than based on like an actual like. Civ has always been based on like actual history.
Like historical sort of thing.
This is more like guessing what the future is going to hold,
Cool.
and the tech trees are much more futuristic. It does have some flaws though. The pacing's a little slow, and the multiplayer's got some hitches, but overall it's a fun game.
Now,
so
speaking of games, we have a new DR out.
Yes.
And kind of keeping with this
DR.
post-Halloween episode, it's a game called Dread Out.
Yes.
Now, this seems to be sort of third-person horror.
Yeah, so you showed me a trailer right before we got here and started recording. I thought it looks very interesting. It's like a girl with...
So what it looks like, it's you can see ghosts or something around. The ghosts are coming after you, but the only way you can see it is through your camera lens. You can't see them in person. And to scare them off, you can take pictures. So you're like going around like this a little bit or walking around. It looks like a fun little weekend sort of thing. I think it said on Metacritic it was like a 3.5 on Metacritic.
And how was the DR, the actual rating?
On the DR, we have 3 of 4 ratings. There's no 4K monitor on it at this moment. But all 3, widescreen, ultra-wide, 21:9, and multi-monitor are silver, so rated B. And
excellent.
It looks like the only issue is with like the in-game movies or the menu, or it says scaled to the left is what the commentary on it says. So that to me just means it renders as far as left.
Yeah.
But the game, I mean, you look at the images on the site, it looks great. And there's no HUD, so I guess that makes it a lot easier because really you're just walking around. The only time you ever have a HUD is when you lift up the camera, and it's a view model, so
right.
it works
So it's
out
like right in
nice.
the center, anyways.
Yeah. So there's no way to squeeze that out or anything.
So if you want a scary Halloween game and you want to check it out, it does work with multi-mon and widescreen and 21:9. So you can go play that game and hopefully scare the pants off yourself. It looks scary just from like the 10 minutes I was watching the Let's Play video. The scary chick looks like the chick from like The Ring or something.
Yeah, just or like a Ring mixed in with the Scream Ghost, like Scream.
Yeah, it looks kind of like the Scream Ghost too.
But yeah, it looks interesting. It's kind of like it's an Indonesian game. So
yeah,
from Indonesia.
Indonesia horror.
So that's kind of interesting. So it looks like I guess an indie sort of game, but it looks really nice for an indie game.
Yeah.
So I mean, we don't really review games here, but it looks nice.
Check it out.
Like I said, fun weekend game probably.
Yeah, for sure. And then something that works with triple monitors.
Oh, definitely. So this is WSGF News.
Yeah.
Be sure. Oh. Go,
yeah, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and like Simon said, do your DRs.
Do your DRs. Do your battle stations pictures. There's a couple people that we found out that want to do battle station pictures, but they're like, oh, we don't want to really post in the battle station thing. That's the whole purpose. Yeah. Post your picture in the battle station form. Have your own thread. That's the whole purpose. Do it.
It helps us keep us organized. We want to see each thread individual for each person.
And I think the cutoff date, so if we don't, the cutoff date for the calendar, if we're going to do this, because we're getting to crunch time at this point, is going to be like November 19th, I think is what I tweeted out to somebody. Cool. If we don't have enough by then, we're just not going to do it.
We'll have to do it for the following year.
Yeah, so we'll be set up and we can save all the images that we've got for the following year. But we have till November 19th to do it. So, clean up your desk. I know it's hard sometimes. Clean up your desk, fix up your cables, and take some pictures. Yeah. And hopefully we can get this going. Like I said, the people who are in the calendar, I will mail them and buy them a calendar yourself.
Free calendar
and I guess we'll have, for everyone else, kind of up in a store sale or something like that. I haven't talked with Skip about the logistics on this yet. Maybe he'll just have me do it myself. But yeah, do your battle stations, do your DRs. Like I said, we talk about them, especially if they're relevant for us.
Yeah, and you guys can catch us streaming. My streaming schedule is a little weird. I'm actually streaming on Tuesdays, Alien Isolation, and then some miscellaneous stuff here and there. Wind Waker on the Wii. I'm probably going to do a little bit of alpha footage of Evolve, so people can check that out. And you can. what Simon and I are doing is we're linking our Twitches to the main WSGF Twitch account. So we'll put a link down there below for you guys, so you can just tune into that Twitch account and you can catch one of us who's ever streaming.
We're still working out kinks on stuff like that, but really, if you know we're streaming, if you follow us on Twitter, it'll blast it out there, and you just check out the main.
Yeah, nothing official, just whenever we
WSGF.
kind of feel like it, right?
Especially with me, with such a crazy schedule.
Yeah.
But be sure you follow us on Twitter. I mean, you're
at Computer Lasco.
I'm at the Destroyer FTW, and the main Twitter is at WSGF. Once again, this is WSGF News. Thanks for watching. Facebook, actually, we're at 1,333 people, 337 people on Facebook. So don't add any more, because that way it just stays leaked. But yeah, check out the Facebook, check out the Google Plus page, check out the Steam group, check out Steam Curators. We're still doing that. I've got to put in the new DRs later tonight, and we'll catch you next week.
See you later, guys. Okay, so
we're just talking about games.
What?
We're just talking about games, right?
Yeah, we're just talking about games.
You're just talking about games. There's nothing, no drama.